This morning's big story. New numbers from Johns Hopkins University show there are officially more than 1 million confirmed cases of COVID-19 globally. That's doubling in a week. That includes a little more than 245,000 cases here in the United States, which is 130,000 more cases of coronavirus than in Italy and Spain. Happening today, the White House is expected to urge Americans who live in areas of high coronavirus transmission to begin wearing cloth masks when they're outdoors. The advisory is based on a recommendation from the Centers for Disease Control. The expected advisory, officials say, is aimed at reducing the risk of spread by people who are infected but not showing symptoms. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin says Americans can expect to see their one-time stimulus checks in about 2 weeks or so, if they have direct deposit. For people who don't have direct deposit, the checks could be in the mail very soon. This announcement comes after House Democrats said it could be weeks before anyone sees any money.